Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and I come to you again from Ohio, and as you can see, it is a beautiful day here, and it took a long time, it seems, for the weather to get warm, and now it is 76 degrees, and the weather forecast is calling for the remainder of the week to be in the 70s and in the 80s. So finally, some nice weather for a change. And now, what is it, June 2nd? And I'm telling you, it was low in the 30s at night here the last few days, highs in the 50s. It's just windy, chilly, cold. And it's like, will the warm weather get here and stay? So I think finally, the weather is going to now be warm as we go into the official first day of summer here, not too long from now. And so I'm here at a park here. It's a huge reservation. Trails everywhere in this complex here. And it's normally a busy place, and the other parts of the reservation are busy, but I was able to find some places where there's not all the people and all the, bicycles and kids and people walking, and so I found this remote area, and there's a bridge going across over there, but it's very peaceful here, as you can see, and the water, sunshine feels good on my skin, and just a beautiful day, and lifts the spirit for sure. And that dreary, cold, cloudy, windy weather just gets old. It gets old. And here in Ohio, it's just most of the time, it's just not good weather, at least in my humble opinion. And so it's just nice to finally have the heat. And so here I am. And the summers just go by so quick. Oh, too fast. Too fast. Update on the shoulder. The shoulder's doing good. As you can see, I've got more mobility in it. I'm not really wearing the sling, even though they want me to wear the sling. But I can lift and move the arm now. And each day I have more flexibility. Like, that's as high as I can lift my arm right now, unless I assist it up, but that's as far as it'll go. But with some therapy, it'll go. It just needs to strengthen again. And so have therapy again tomorrow, and then the following week. So, but you can see the arm is moving and healing up quite nicely. The holes are healing up. So each day I have more and more mobility in this arm. And at nighttime it's pain-free, whereas before I would feel it at night. And but now, yeah, it's the shoulder's doing well. So that's promising. That it's day by day getting better and better and better and better. So that's a good sign. And so I'm happy about that. So I hope this finds you well. There's been a lot going on since the last time I made a video. And it's just such a sad thing here in the U.S. Seems like every time you turn on the news, some people say, I don't know why you watch the news. I still watch it and see what's going on, and it just seems like every time you turn the news on, there's another mass shooting. We've had multiple mass shootings around the country, and there was one in North Carolina at a house. Multiple people shot. I think one person was killed, one critical. And there were some other ones in other places. And then there was a terrorist attack in Colorado where the guy was throwing the Molotov cocktails and burning people. And it's just sad time in which we live, where you just continue to see the violence more and more and more and more. And some would say, well, you know, we've always had it, Jim. It's just the news is making it more mainstream, and it's just showing, it's just being more broadcast now. And it's just hard for me to believe that we've always had all these mass shootings. We've always had guys throwing Molotov cocktails. You know, it's like, are you sure about that? We've always had that. And it just seems like strange time in which we live. And just the way people are. Times have changed. Times have changed big time. And I'm sure a lot of you are feeling it too. And uncertainty, you know, the inflation, costs of things. People can't afford, they're barely making it, you know, they can't afford hardly their rents and their food bills and utilities. And so people they're having a hard time right now getting by. And so, you know, less people having families, the fertility rates are declining across the world. Here in the United States, Asian countries, Korea, Japan, China, people aren't having babies. They can't afford it. They barely can take care of themselves, let alone get married and have a family. And, you know, you just look at all this and you take a step back, and it's just some sad times in which we live. And it's easy to get wrapped up in all the negativity, you know. But, you know, you just make the observations. I make the observations. And it's just very disappointing. Very, very disappointing to see what's happening around the world, and even in at least here in my own country of the United States. And how it does make you kind of weary to go in places where there's a large group of people. Because, you know, you're thinking, okay, is this going to be another day where somebody decides they want to terrorize and open up with a weapon and shoot the place up, or set off a bomb, or you've got cars being run into people, and that's some other stuff that's been going on. People using a vehicle to run into a crowd and terrorizing people, killing people, injuring people with a vehicle. And it's just, again, I guess the sign of the times in which we live, that there are people that can do these things. But I just wanted to make a video, and I think the main gist of this video, or what gave me the idea for this video, is I've been reading this book by A friend of mine that I served in the military with when I was in the Special Forces at Fort Bragg, I served with this guy, Ivan Castro. And he had left the SF unit because he had commissioned as an officer. He was enlisted. He was at E7, E8, and he enlisted or he commissioned. Went to OCS late. He was 33, 34 when he commissioned as a second lieutenant. And so he went off to the 82nd Airborne Division and to serve his time as a commissioned officer. And then once he made captain, he was going to then return to the Special Forces unit to be a team leader. Well, that never happened. He, when he was serving in Iraq, mortar round hit him and 2 others, killed 2, and just about killed him. And he was airlifted to Germany, and he was just barely hanging on for life. It's lucky he didn't die from his wounds, but he survived, and now he's blind. But he wrote a book, Fighting Blind, a Green Beret story of extraordinary courage, and he's gone on to do some great things, and he's run marathons, and he's hiked the South Pole and done all these amazing things, and I'm more than halfway through the book. And but I got to thinking, with all the bad that's going on, and with finance, people are struggling financially and everything. And he's describing in the book how recuperating from this terrible injury, lost a finger, all these surgeries, and that he's had to do. And he discussed going to the what he called the blind school, learning how to be a blind person and how to navigate the world, and all these special devices that assist blind people. And now his world is completely dark. And I can remember, when my dad was alive, and I think I mentioned in another video, my dad's expression whenever, we were working on something and we may have fudged on it a little bit or scratched something, or maybe something got dented or scratched, or he didn't really get too bent out of shape over things, whereas some people would freak out. For example, if a grocery cart hits somebody's car in a parking lot, you've got people that would freak out over that. Whereas my dad, if a grocery cart hit the side of the car and chipped a little bit of the paint, my dad would say, well, a blind man would pay $1 million to see it. And I think he's right, and how much Ivan here wished that he could get his eyesight back. And there might be technologies later on down the road where he just might get his eyesight back. He lost one eye completely, but he still had the other eye, but the nerves were completely severed, so there was no ability for him to see again in that eye. I don't even know if he had that eye removed or not, but there could be a time with technology that blind people can regain their sight. But I tell you, there's I'm sure there's some blind people out there that would pay $1 million to regain their sight. And I was while reading the story, I had to remind myself to be thankful that even though everything just seems to be going to crap everywhere we turn, and the way society is, and the decline in just values and decency and all the rest, and how things have changed and not necessarily for the better. It's hard to get on board with a lot of the trends that are going on in today's society. And you see it. You see it in all the political divide, and you've got these transgender, they're biologically male in female sports, and they're winning different things, whether it's in track, where she wins. You know, she's transgender, but biologically, she is a he. And so you have that kind of stuff going on. And that's just, something's not right with that. That's a male who's now deciding to be a female, and then they're winning in sports, in female sports now. And it's just, you just makes you shake your head. And that's just an example, another example. And, but even with all of the crap that's going on that just disappoints you and can actually piss you off when you watch some of these news broadcasts and read online what's going on around the world and in your community, makes you shake your head, makes you want to just stay to yourself and be a recluse and just pull yourself away from society as you step back and just watch it collapse, you know? And I can be in places like this where there's nobody here. There's nothing here but the birds and the chipmunks and, you know, squirrels and whatnot here. And I'm sitting here all by myself in peace. It's quite nice, actually. But even with all of that, I have to constantly remind myself of the good things. And one of those things is health and having my eyesight. I can see. I can see. And even if I would just lose everything, my finances, didn't have a penny to me, and as long as I still had some clothes and I still had the ability to walk, use my hands, and I can still see, you know, that's worth more than money, you know, than fortune, than winning the Powerball. You know, I can see, and I can walk and enjoy days like today. And so I remind myself of that, you know, and just reading his story, I'm still reading it, of all his accomplishments and just overcoming the obstacles of being blind. And it's just amazing what he's been able to do, and run these marathons and go to the South Pole and endure the cold and doing all of that stuff, and still have a positive outlook and still keeps going, even though he, you know, had his eyesight taken with that mortar in Iraq. And then being in a coma, medically induced for weeks, you know, and then waking up and then finding out that you can't see anymore. And I don't know how I would fare. I would probably wish that the mortar would have killed me, you know? I would have been like, dang it, why am I alive, you know? Should have just took me too, you know, with the other two. And so, but yeah, I just wanted to share that. And so if anybody's out there in the same boat as me, and you're just, you know, you're looking at everything and you're disappointed and you're in a bad position and you're struggling with something, try to remind yourself of some of the good, you know, that you still have. And if you still have your ability to see and you're able to walk and use your hands and you still have your, you know, your health, that's a good thing. And be thankful for that. And just remind yourself, you know, it could be a heck of a lot worse. You know, it really can be. It could be a heck of a lot worse. And you keep going, you know. You keep going. You maintain. And you just accept it for what things are. And you just do the best you can. And live your life. You know, until it's the end. And that's it. You know? And that's all there is to it. And I love walking in places like this. I wish I would come walking with a shovel. I wish that I would, you know, if I would start doing some digging and sift through this, I bet I could find arrowheads, you know, in here. Spear points, that kind of thing. You know it's here. It's just a matter of just digging and sifting through this. And I think if you would dig through, I bet you would find it. But I always look down to see if I could find an arrowhead. That'd be so cool. You know? And all these rocks. Anyway, that's about the main message of the video. And to give you an update on the shoulder, so anybody getting shoulder work. Yeah, at least for me, it's so far so good. Each day I get more and more flexibility and mobility, so that's a good thing. So keep going, folks. Keep going. And find things that, I guess, make you happy. That keep you going, that kind of give you a reason to get up in the morning. You know, just live life the best you can, you know. And that's all I'm doing right now, healing up. And I look forward to traveling. So right now I'm just kind of laying low, healing, walking, eating good food, and still trying to get my mom moved. She's home now. She left skilled nursing. So right now she's well enough to be home on her own, which is quite remarkable. And, but we've got some, what do you call it, home care planned for her to come and help with things around the house and cleaning. And they bring meals to her and, you know, that kind of thing. And then help with transition to assisted living. So that's in progress right now for her. So hopefully we can get that going soon. And I hope to be able to get her moved, and then I'm still here to help get her apartment cleared out, you know, and get her moved, get her settled, get me good, and then I'm hitting the road, man, or getting on the plane wherever I decide to go first. So, but that is definitely something that I'm looking forward to. But I'm glad it's now getting ready to be summer. So at least I'm not stuck here in Ohio trying to do all this in the dead of winter, you know. And at least it's good weather, and so that's a good thing. So anyway, that was all. I'm just rambling, but yeah, look at the positives. I have to constantly remind myself, and so thankful that I have my eyes and my hands you know, and I can always say I lost everything, and I could always go back to work if I need to, you know, because I still have my health. And I've heard it said that your health is your wealth. And I heard another man say, for men, peace is the new wealth. Peace is the new wealth for men. I like that one. Peace and health is the new wealth, or is wealth. So, anyway, I think I'm gonna sit here. I got my chair. It's all quiet. Got my bag, I got my water, got my snacks, I got my book. Read a little bit. I got a good walk in. I did about 4-mile walk prior to this. And then yesterday I ran for the first time in a while. And I ran 3 miles. Walked a mile, ran the other mile, and then finished up at walking the rest of the way with a total of 6 miles, a little over 6 miles. So yeah, I wanted to see if I could run even with the shoulder. So yes, I can run. So I'm like, I'm back to running again. So I'm going to pick up the running again. And I'm even thinking about maybe going to the swimming pool, not using my arm, but at least I can still swim with my legs, you know, or my left. I know I can use my left arm to side stroke, or lay on my back and then just do laps completely on my back, kicking with my legs, you know, and then just you know, getting back in the pool, getting my body moving again, running again, cycling again, get on the bike. So slowly but surely getting back in shape. And who knows where that might lead. Being able to swim, bike, and run. So stay tuned for that, where that leads. But anyway, that's all. Take care. I'll see you guys on the next one. Be safe out there. Crazies out there.